How to terminate your corporation, how to stop its existence, cancel, or in legal terms, dissolve a corporation. Hi and welcome back again, me Eugene from CBES, Canadian Business and Enterprise Services, and today I would like to explain you how legally to approach the process, what it means, which considerations to consider, how to proceed with the process of dissolution, and what are the alternatives for the dissolution, which I think are better, more valuable than the dissolution itself. So before we proceed with the actual dissolution, let's remember the nature of a corporation, and remember, as I always say, corporation is a legal entity. We can create it, but it cannot die on itself. It doesn't have physical existence. There are multiple corporations that outlive and well outlive their creators. One of the most famous is the Hudson's Bay Company of Canada that was created back in 1670. It's the longest living corporation in the English-speaking world. Another famous corporation is a Ford Motors Company, which was established in 1903, and you can look for the articles of that company. There are on the internet, and it well outlived Henry Ford and still is with us. So in order to terminate the corporation, we have to follow a proper legal process. There are multiple alternatives for the terminating of a corporation. One would be amalgamation, where a corporation stops its existence, but it's not terminated per se. It is being either amalgamated with two companies to create a new entity, or being absorbed by an existing company, and that one continues its existence while the first one stops its existence. Then there's a dissolution, which we will discuss today. We will discuss the voluntary. That's when we as business owners decide to terminate our corporation, and that is as an opposite to involuntary. In the case of bankruptcy or insolvency, as a legal process, the corporation, after the distribution of its assets, being terminated and no longer exists. And then there's a technical or cancellation, where the registrar cancels the registration of a corporation for technical reasons. One of them is you not filing your annual informational returns or not filing taxes, and eventually the corporation will be cancelled. So before we come to the actual process, let's talk about types of dissolutions and what to do before the dissolution itself. There are two processes. One is a straightforward, easier process for corporations that did not start their business operations and did not issue share capital. Technically, mistake corporation. You opened it, you didn't intend it, or you opened it, you didn't think through, and now you just want to cancel it, not to bear this headache on yourself. So you terminate it. Straightforward process, 2 documents attached, no headaches and nothing to take into consideration actually. The second process is for the actual operating businesses that have business operations, have liabilities, and issued shares. They have to follow a little bit more complicated process. The forms that I refer in today's presentations are from the federal process. There's a similar form in each of the provincial registers that just could be named differently. You'll have to search them. I'll provide the link for the dissolution processes for Ontario and federal corporation in the description section below. Now, before we dissolve the corporation, we have to prepare the corporation for the process, make sure that we are ready. This is a legal process with its requirements. We have to make sure that we comply with them. So evaluate all your assets and liabilities, compare them, make a thorough list of those, make sure that you are capable of covering your liabilities with your existing assets, and that there will not remain uncovered liabilities when you approach the process of dissolution, because we will be declaring that there are no such as a part of the process. Identify who are the affected parties, employees, contractors, creditors, suppliers, whoever we owe money to, whoever can claim certain claims from the company. Identify them, communicate with them, make sure that you're capable of covering those liabilities. Wind up your business operations, which means technically terminate them, and this will include, first of all, settle all your employment matters. So if you have employees, terminate the employments, pay out their severance pays, make sure they sign settlement agreements so you can declare that there are no outstanding liabilities. Settle bank accounts. So don't forget about credit cards, which are also liabilities on your corporation. Any lines of credit, borrowing, mortgages, cover them before you proceed. Discuss with your suppliers and creditors. Same thing, you have to cover those liabilities. And eventually terminate your business operations. So stop incurring new liabilities. And to complete the process, complete and pay all your tax liabilities. So if you didn't file your reporting, do it. If you did and you still didn't pay, because you will have to comply with the CRA requirements, and you'll see it in the next stage. So once you see that the corporation is prepared, we can proceed to the actual dissolution process. And this will include just a couple of steps. First, prepare corporation resolutions. And make sure that they're signed by directors and shareholders consenting to dissolve the corporation. You will need it in the future if something happens. Best case, both should sign the consent to dissolve. Then you have to apply for a letter of consent to dissolve from CRA. Remember the tax liability that we had to pay out. CRA will verify. If there are any, they will not consent. So make sure that everything is paid out. And then CRA will provide you with a letter of consent. It's a very informal process. You just send an email with the details of your corporation, and within approximately a month, you will get the letter if they agree. Prepare and file the Articles of Dissolution forms. Okay, so Form 10 or Form 11 in the federal jurisdictions, any other name in other jurisdictions, but these are the forms that should be filed. And if everything is in order, first stage, you will get the Articles of Dissolution from the registrar. This is technically the death certificate of your corporation with a date on it. The date there for multiple reasons. One of them is that you are not allowed any longer to use your corporation, its name, to refer to it from that day on for your business activities. Okay, the corporation stopped its existence. It's no longer here for you to use it. Pay out any remaining liabilities, any fees that you owe for the dissolution process. Make sure that there are no outstanding claims. They will come back to the directors of the corporation, which in most of the private businesses we are a director. So make sure everything is paid out, and whatever is left, distribute among shareholders. By this point, you will have your corporation completely terminated, dissolved, no longer existing. Okay, now let's talk about considerations and alternatives that we can have instead of dissolving a corporation. So first of all, look, corporation itself has value, okay? Not only goodwill for its name or trademark, the actual existing envelope of legal entity that is there on the market for many years has value. People are prepared to pay thousands upon thousands of dollars to purchase empty shelf corporation. And your corporation, if it was in existence and it was operating, might cost a lot. Okay, so why to dissolve? Why to throw out something that could cost money? Remember another consideration, CRA. Throughout the process, you're communicating with the CRA, letting them know that you're dissolving the corporation. This red flags your company from the very beginning, which increases the chances that you will be audited by the CRA. If you're prepared to it, perfect. Then you've done your business in proper way, everything is clean, and you're ready to waste your time on CRA audits. That's okay, but not everybody, and you might want to avoid this process, not because there's something wrong, but because it just will take a lot of your time, a lot of your resources, and of course a stress. So what are the alternatives? And the alternatives could be two. One, sell it to someone. Okay, if it has value, if it costs thousands of dollars, why would you waste thousands of dollars? Sell it to someone who is prepared to pay, and there are enough people. I'm being contacted almost every day with these questions. They will pay good money for you. And the best thing, when they buy a corporation, they take all the liabilities with them. You will, of course, indemnify them for whatever historical liabilities until the day of transaction. But you know what? There's a good chance that for the couple of years, nothing will pop up or there are no liabilities. And then you're clean. The corporation moved on with its new owners, and you got your thousands of dollars. And the second option, look, you can retain the corporation. Just an empty legal envelope of a corporation to use it in the future purposes. And what it means is that, let's say you'll decide to start a new business. You already have a corporation with many years of history in it. You have articles that were created years ago. You can use that goodwill of your corporation for your personal benefit in the new business endeavor. You technically will be introducing yourself as something that exists already for many years and not just was incorporated yesterday, gets a little bit different treatment from the parties you will be working with, banks, creditors, investors, partners. So these are two options which I think much more valuable and reasonable than dissolution. They will provide you with value, while dissolution with none. So unless you really insist on dissolving a corporation, I don't see a reason why you would do that. Do one of these two. So that completes our presentation today. Thank you for being with me, Eugene from CBES, Canadian Business and Enterprise Services. Please do not forget to subscribe in the below. Leave your comments in the section below as well. Help me to understand what you like, what you don't like, what can I improve in my presentations, which additional topics you would like me to cover, and of course help the channel to grow, to help more people to develop their businesses. So thank you for being with me today, Eugene, and I'll see you soon with new topics. Bye.